Hello Year 11, this is Mrs Clark. I'm going to run through the AS and A-Level Government and Politics course. For those of you that don't know me, I am Head of Faculty here at Radyr. I've worked here for a long time and I'm also Subject Leader for Government and Politics. Government and Politics has become a really successful course here at Radyr. We've been running for about 7 years now, and it's a really exciting, new, challenging course. And I'm very fortunate that many of my students have gone on to study politics, international relations, law, journalism at university. Okay, so why study politics? Well, like I said, politics is an exciting and challenging subject. We have a lot of discussion and it will really test your critical thinking and analytical skills and develop you as a citizen and a young adult growing up in this current world. It's obviously a very sought after subject because of the development of these practical and analytical skills. If you are thinking of considering a career in possibly journalism or law or becoming a Member of Parliament. Obviously, it's really important that we study politics. It affects us every day and it's all around us. And in this developing world, it's obviously good to have these discussions and, ask each other these questions before we obviously become, as we're becoming young adults. Obviously, I'm very, very lucky that the students I have really developed this critical thinking and become more analytical through this subject. And obviously with many, many changes across the world all the time, it's really nice when students come in and we have these discussions about many things and how the world is changing. So how is the course set up? Well, there are 4 units, Unit 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now the AS is based on 2 units. There are 2 exams, both an hour and a half exams. There is a mixture within the AS paper of 2 6 markers and then a 24 marker which requires an extract. So there'll be an extract from a newspaper, a blog, a political journal or a politics review article, and you will be expected to answer questions using that extract. There are also 2 small essay questions. This then leads on to the A2. Now the A2 is obviously a little bit more challenging. The AS makes up 20% each exam of the overall A level, and then the A2 exams are 30% each. The A level Unit 3, we study political ideology, so we look at different ideologies and concepts across different political systems. And then Unit 4, we study government and politics of the USA. So by that point then you should, it's good for you to have a comparison with, you've studied quite a bit of British politics, and then obviously we can apply it to the American political system. Again, very exciting time at the moment, obviously with an election in America. So, you will know if you're somebody who's interested in what's going on in America and you are actively watching the news, etc. There might be something that this subject will be able to kind of open that field for you and obviously have discussion based around that. The exam looks like this. Okay, this is an AS exam, so you can just see. So you can see here the 6 mark questions. They're just based around very simple concepts, okay, throughout the course. Then that leads on to an extract. So there are 2 extracts. Obviously one here, both of these are from textbooks, okay, and you will be expected to obviously use these extracts to support your arguments. And then there is a choice within the essay paper there. Now the exam is only an hour and a half long, so you're not expected to write reams and reams and reams. It's more about applying your political knowledge to your skill set now and developing those writing and analytical skills that way. So just to go into a little bit more detail about the AS, so the first component you study is Government and Wales in the United Kingdom. Now this is basically an introductory module into how the UK and Wales is governed. So we look at the setup of the UK government, we look at the National Assembly and the Welsh Parliament, and we look at the judicial system. So we look at the judiciary, we look at the Supreme Court, we look at the fact that we're leaving the EU and how that's going to affect us in the future, positively and negatively, and we look at the relationships that our country has built with other countries through our political system. So this is more of a kind of introduction to the systems and regulations. This leads on to how we then live in a democracy, okay, and how we become responsible citizens. So this is more about elections and our rights and responsibilities, our human rights. We look at other countries and compare human rights and how citizens are expected to behave in other countries compared to our country. And we look at, pressure from pressure groups and social movements. Obviously, there's been a lot in the press at the moment about Extinction Rebellion, for example, and Black Lives Matter. So we talk about how that, those social movements will obviously inform policy and change people's political perspective. So the first module is more about systems and how our democracy and our electoral systems work. And then the second module is more about how we then live in a democracy and how people, display their rights and responsibilities. Then A2 is a little bit of a step up. And we start to delve into those countries then, and we look at the ideologies which those democracies are built upon. So liberalism, socialism, conservatism and nationalism. Again, this is probably one of my favourite elements of the course, because this allows you, you've learnt the systems at AS. This really allows you now to kind of open your mind a little bit and think about different ideologies and different ideas and things which have happened in history and how they've been allowed to happen. Then the last module is obviously Government and Politics of the USA, where we pretty much look at the AS course, so how, the systems work in this country, and we apply it to America. So democracy in America, the Constitution, we look at perhaps gun laws and, how we feel that perhaps America is very different to our country, but then obviously similar in terms of liberalism, and we look at voting behaviour patterns. Again, this is a really exciting time for this, because obviously we'll have fresh new statistics and data fresh from a new election, which we'll obviously be able to develop. So you will be the first year group which will have that, okay? Because at the moment we're obviously waiting for that to happen. Now, very, very fortunate that the results have been excellent. I'm fortunate that I actually work for the WJC as a second job, and I'm very established within the Government and Politics department within the WJC. That's why I know that it's such a good course, and the people who write the course are extremely fair, and we all want our students to get the most out of the course. You will be expected to do some reading, and you will be expected to watch the news. If you are somebody who follows things on Twitter and really enjoys that, enjoys exploring new ideas and reading information about politics in the UK and abroad, then this is definitely the course for you. Our results last year were excellent. We were in the top 5% of schools in the UK. In 2019, we were in the top 10%. I've been consistently in the top 10% for the last 6 years. So you can see the results there. Last year, I was very, very fortunate to have an excellent class, many of whom went on to study law and international relations or history and politics and journalism. What I will say is, as a course, you're very lucky at Radyr because you have so many opportunities to develop extracurricularly. Now, many of my students have really embraced their newfound sort of political knowledge and engaged in many things. Dr. Rowe is always sending out fantastic opportunities for you to meet local MPs, local lords, AMs, and we've been fortunate that some of our students have got to meet prime ministers. We actively have speakers in school and often in class, and I have built good relationships with the Welsh Parliament. We've been fortunate to have several visits there and actually engage and meet the First Minister and discuss things on a political level. So there are lots of fantastic opportunities outside of the classroom which will obviously enhance your provision in politics, and I would really recommend that you get involved in those. Here's just some quotes from some of my previous students. lots of students take history, politics, English, economics, but then I also have many students who do sciences and do politics as well. So there's not a necessary, it will help any subject because it develops those analytical and practical skills. I particularly like this one here where it says changes make the world go round. And we live in a bit of a crazy world at the moment with so many changes happening on a daily basis. Sometimes it's really, really nice to come into school and just to have that discussion. And often my students will ask me things and we will talk about things and we will really learn and discuss from each other. I also like this one. Thank you for preparing me for the real world. That is something which many of my students say, that they feel that they understand things a lot better after studying politics, and they feel, you are developing into young adults and adulthood, and it is really, really important that you understand how things work and how processes work, and obviously this can really, really help you with that. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to come and find me. My office is upstairs H block, and the humanities block, or you will find me in H11. If anyone has any questions or just wants to come and have a chat, obviously I can't meet you all because obviously this is virtual, so it's quite difficult. But please just drop me an email and we can arrange a time which is convenient. I really think politics is a fantastic course. I really enjoy teaching it, and I really enjoy seeing young people develop into, really well-informed young adults.